Hey sweet people, in today's video we are going to talk about 6 ways that you can go from drowning to possibly thriving as a special needs parent. I can't promise thriving, but how about rejoining the land of the living? As a special needs parent, that is exactly the kind of thing that I would like to do. Rejoin the land of the living. Hi, my name is Heather Sweetman. I am here on YouTube to make videos that I wished I had found when we started our special needs journey 10 years ago. My husband and I have 4 sweet kiddos. Our youngest, who is now 10, and I can't believe it, she has quadriplegic spastic cerebral palsy. She's in a wheelchair full-time. She uses a talker. She has a stander. She has leg things and arm things and all the things. And so welcome to my channel. I make unedited videos while in my car, while I'm waiting for her to get done with all of her therapies that she has to do twice a week. So welcome if you are new here. Thank you for coming back if you have been here before. And yeah, so like I said, these are unedited. You're just gonna get me, and I'm working on reeling in my ums and ahs, but thanks for joining this little crazy ride. So, 6 ways we can go from drowning to somewhat thriving, I would say, as a special needs parent. And seriously, if you are in this spot where you just feel like you are death warmed over, like you are just drowning with everything that you have to do, everything that your sweet child needs, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so grateful that you took just a little bit of time to set aside for yourself. Even if you're a parent of toddlers, if you're a parent of any kind, I think it's so easy to put ourselves on the back burner and to put the needs that are directly in front of us, to allow those things to captivate our time and attention and thoughts, which they are necessary and good things. But sometimes we have to take a little bit of a step back, put on our own mask before we can help other people. So, and I am definitely talking from experience. I am not great at doing this kind of stuff. I am learning. I will probably be learning this for the rest of my life. I am a natural helper. I am a people pleaser, and those are things that I am working on. There are beautiful things about that, but then there's also weaknesses. Every one of us, our strengths have weaknesses, and our weaknesses have strengths, and we're just along on the ride to allow God to help shape us into who He's making us to be through all of this craziness. So hang around for the last thing that really helped me. You're not going to want to miss that. So my first thing, and these things are all practical, and these things are all, you don't need me to tell you this, but maybe you do. Sometimes we just need to hear something before, again, for the 800th time, like me, before we go, okay, I'm going to do it. But the very first thing I would say is to get help. And I don't say that like, oh, that's so easy. That's like the easiest thing ever is to get help. No, I think it's hard to get help no matter what your situation is. But then you add in a child with special needs, and it's not just like calling someone over to babysit and take care of your kids. No, they have specific things they have to do and routines they have to follow and triggers and all of these things that, for the lack of a better term, normal kids don't necessarily have to deal with. And you don't have to give your babysitter a 10-chapter book on how to take care of your child. So I say that with great awareness that it is one of the hardest things to do. But and when I say get help, I would say that help can be a lot of things, right? Help can be asking for your kids' teachers or their doctors or their therapists if there are any support groups that they would recommend, if they know of any other parents that that you can connect with, because oftentimes it's the parents who have the resources of possible caregivers or possible babysitters who are familiar with special needs, or programs that you can get your child into. I know that when I take our Finley to the pediatrician, I'm leaving and she's like, well, you taught me something again today. And so, but you can use the people that you see often in your life weekly, those therapists, those doctors, the teachers. You can ask them like, hey, I'm trying to get more help. I'm trying to get more support. Are there any support groups that you know of? Are there any programs that you know of? Just this past summer is really hard. Finley really thrives in the school structured environment, and summers are tough. And wow, there's it's a car covered in Christmas lights. That's hilarious. It was covered in Christmas lights, all being held on by masking tape. So hopefully that doesn't damage their paint job. But super fun. Let's see, where was I at? Oh, just this summer, I was talking to her therapist, and I had asked them this question before, but I was just saying, like, we don't know what we're going to do for summer. And one of her speech therapists was like, oh, you need to try this program. And I had looked into there's actually not a lot of options specifically for cerebral palsy. There's a lot for autism. There's a lot for Downs, at least in our area. There's not a lot for CP. And CP, it has such a variety of ways of looking, from, like, I could have CP look exactly how I look, or you could have a child in a wheelchair who can't take their head off of their headrest, and they're being tube fed. So I get that. It's a challenge. But she was able to tell me of this program it was from, you paid by the week, which is amazing for summer programs, because, if it's like all summer long, but you're going to be gone half that time, you feel like you're wasting your money. And Finley was able to go from 9 to 3. Several times a week, they went to the pool, they did crafts. I mean, she had so much fun. So keep asking those questions, even if I know how hard it's just, you feel like a broken record, and I feel like every Christmas I'm like, hey, any presents you would recommend for Finley? So I get that. But ask for help. And if you have friends that could help, if you have family, I know not everybody is in that place. I would say one of the things that we did early on, this is not currently happening, but I was not in the place where I could handle doing this mentally, but when Finley was, I want to say about 5, my husband took it upon himself to gather anybody in our church who is interested in helping Finley during Sunday school time, because our church does not have a special needs program. In fact, most churches don't have a special needs program. If you are a part of a church that has a special needs program, please know you are in a very, very, very special place, and God bless them. So, but we gathered people who were interested, and he had them over, and he walked them through everything with Finley that they would need to know on a Sunday morning, from how to put on different things on her body, to how to change her diaper, to how to feed her, all of these things. So if you are able, well, it's not technically if you're able, if you have the mental capacity, because I know that the mental capacity for special needs parents is huge. It's one of the reasons we feel like we're drowning, right? There's just so much to think about and to do. So, but if you could do a training with family and friends who want to help, but you're too nervous because have them over for pizza and just take everybody through it at the same time, and maybe that could help. We do not have family close by. Our family is about, the closest family we have is 5 hours away. They're in St. Louis. We're in Chicago, and they do a lot for being 5 hours away. And we're really grateful for that. But I'm aware that not everyone can rely on family, whether they're in town or out of town. So if you have people who would like to help, that would be an option, because it is overwhelming to kind of train somebody every time. And if you are a friend of a special needs parent and you just often think to yourself, man, I would really like to help, but I do not know how, but maybe you would be willing to help take care of their kid for a couple hours a week, maybe regularly, or just a one-off thing to give, the main caregiver, or, if it's a mom and dad or whatever, give them a break. I would offer that. I would say, hey, if I come over, could you kind of train me on how to take care of your kiddo? And I would love to help you out, give you a break, take some stuff off your mind. And I would say, so right now we are in a season where our older kids are helping a lot. And so even if it's that kind of situation, but you still have a heart to do that, I would not write it off, because if you have if your family has a person with special needs in it, not just the mom and dad need a break, the whole family needs a break. Like, my mom will actually take our youngest for the weekend sometimes, and that is just like our whole family is a caregiver in a sense. And that has been an incredible gift to us. It's cultivated compassion and awareness in our kids that we could not have done that otherwise. I mean, God has used it in a mighty way in their lives. But also, they get tired as well. And we all have, my husband, myself, and our oldest son all have back challenges because of it. So with kids in general, it takes a village. With special needs, it really takes a village. So if that is on your heart, please push into that. And my second thing is just simply my first thing is ask for help, figure out ways to get help. Facebook groups are great resources. Facebook has a group for everybody, so find a good one that can just be a source of ideas and help finding whatever you feel like you need. My second thing is put on your oxygen mask. This might have needed to be the first one. These are not necessarily in order, but put on your oxygen mask. So if you need, I know in some situations you literally cannot leave your child. If there is a way you can step away for 5 minutes, if you can go for a walk around the block, if you can go somewhere quiet in your home, and I say that we lived in apartments for many, 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 many years, and finding a quiet spot was basically impossible. But even if it's the bathroom, even if it's your kid's room, and it maybe just anywhere where you can be by yourself for 10 minutes and read a book, do something refreshing, play with your dog, call a friend. All of our oxygen masks are going to look different. For me right now, it's reading a good book and going for a walk. But try to make that a priority every single day. If you shoot for every day, maybe you'll get it in 3 times a week, which would be better than no times a week. My third one is community. It doesn't have to be very big. It could just be 1 or 2 people. But what did COVID teach us? COVID taught us that we need each other and that we do not do well when we are isolated by ourselves. And being a parent of a special needs child is so isolating. Not intentionally, but all your time, all your thoughts, all your energy are really wrapped up in keeping this little person alive. And in a lot of different ways. And as parents, that's what we do. We're all trying to do our best to take care of our kids. And so it just can be very isolating. So I would just say, if you can work together with your spouse, it becomes more challenging if you're a single parent. And my heart is just so full for our single parents who are a special needs caregiver. I know, it's hard enough when you have 2 people in the same house working together, let alone doing this on your own. So my hat is off to you, and you are in my prayers if you are a single parent doing this. If there's anybody you can lean on, if a friend can come over when your child is napping, or when, just to watch a movie with you or something, try and figure out ways where you can be around people. If it's just on Zoom, like, hey, let's put on the same movie and Zoom together, or, whatever. Or, hey, I got to make dinner, you got to make dinner, let's Zoom while we do that. And that was another gift of COVID, right? Is we can we don't have to physically go somewhere without, obviously connecting in person is the best, but if you can't connect in person, it's better to connect on a screen than to not do it at all. So find ways to be in community. And then the next one, I guess number 4, is listen or read things that are inspiring and help you feel seen. I think one of the most isolating things about being a special needs parent is that you don't feel seen, and you don't feel seen. I remember in the very early days of our special needs journey, I would go to church, and I told my husband, I was just like, I feel like I go to church, and I'm consumed. I have 4 kids, they were 6 and under at the time of all of this happened. And so I had my hands full. I like to say full of love, because people will be like, your hands are full. I'm like, yeah, they're full of love. I love each and every one of these people. They're my favorites. So don't go accusing them or whatever. But I remember in those early days going to church, going to the grocery store, and I obviously needed help. And it was the rare occasion for someone to offer to help me. Now, my husband and I ended up dividing and conquering on a Sunday. He's a pastor, and so, but he ended up being like, I would take 2 kids, he would take 2 kids, and for a while there when he could, and that was a massive help. So I think finding voices that help you feel seen is incredibly powerful. So actually, I'll link this below. I actually started a blog. I'm not actively posting on it anymore, but I wrote our story. There's different kind of segments of our story that make up a post, and I wrote that specifically because I felt so unseen, and I'm aware that that is a common feeling in the special needs world. And so I wrote our story just because I know the power of seeing yourself in a story. I'm trying to think if there's any podcasts. There wasn't anything on YouTube other than like practical, helpful information. Nothing that was like, oh yeah, I could see myself there. There were some books, and I will try to remember to put these in the notes below. But Every Bitter Thing is Sweet by Sarah Haggerty, such a powerful book. Not a special needs mom, a mom who struggled with infertility for 10 years. And that was the first book I read. Finley was probably maybe 1 when I read that book, and I cried and cried and cried through that book, and it was such a good process. It helped me to grieve. It helped me to feel seen. And that's the powerful thing about grief, you guys. Our sufferings isolate us, right? But if we are willing to share our sufferings, the themes of suffering, or the theme of grief, is actually the same. Like what we feel, what we experience in grief, in suffering, is very similar no matter what we're walking through. Sure, there are differences, and sure, the experiences are very different. I've yet to meet a person who has exactly walked in my shoes. Lots of people with CP. I have not met one person whose husband is a pastor, where they're leading a church in a city where there's a revolving door People come and go and come and go and come and go. It is challenging to make those long-term friendships because people are just coming and going and coming and going. Now, I do have long-term friendships here, but it's a challenge. And I don't know anyone who has a special needs kid and where their husband is leading a church in a major city and they have no family around. I haven't met that person, but what I have done is I have connected with people who aren't in my shoes. They're in another form of suffering, but the things that we experience are the same, so that is why it's powerful to get into community, to read books, listen to podcasts, watch YouTube videos where you feel like you can see yourself. And that's the whole reason I'm doing this channel. I'm gonna have to stop there. This is long. Okay, guys, I'm going to stop it here, actually. I will finish this list later. If you have enjoyed this video, would you please hit the subscribe button and the like button and throw me like a heart or a comment in the comment section. All of that tells YouTube that this is this is good quality content that other people should see. I would really love to get up to 150 subscribers by the end of December, so you can help that happen. Also, you can share this with other people. You can share it on Facebook. You can share it on Instagram. You can send it to someone that you think it might be helpful for. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time. And I will finish my next video with I have 2 other things that I will share about. Maybe I'll throw in a few other things. So sorry for the long video. I will finish this up on Thursday. See you then. Bye.